Hello, world. This footage is taken in Hefei Province, Anhui, and today I would like to talk about smoking and smoking culture in China, mostly from what I've observed and learned while being here. Now, just to be clear, I'm not promoting smoking. Smoking is not good for your health. Just your friendly neighborhood PSA. I am just letting you know what it's like over here in regards to smoking. Now, one thing you'll notice in China is just how common it is to have the good old cigarette. So you'll see this especially among the older generation, just kind of how in the West social smoking is becoming less and less of a thing. In the old days, a lot of men, they made friends. It was polite to offer people cigarettes. Nowadays, it is phasing out, but you can still see some younger guys who smoke. And I would say it's even become more socially acceptable for young women to smoke. One of the main reasons smoking persists here is definitely because it's way cheaper than most Western countries to smoke here. There's such a variety of cigarettes, so there's not really as much economic incentive to stop smoking. In Canada, I seriously know some people who have only quit smoking because it's become so expensive. So we're not really at that point yet in China. Now, that being said, smoking is on the decline here, and there's a lot more awareness to the adverse health side effects of smoking. If you take a walk almost in any major park in China, even some smaller ones, you'll see what I call positive propaganda, where it will have things up sometimes in Chinese and English or just Chinese, where it says, cessation of smoking is a must for a healthy lifestyle. You will actually see a lot of no smoking signs up, like anywhere. You're not supposed to be smoking in trains, airports, malls, pretty much indoors. All the regular places you think you're not supposed to be smoking. Legally, you're not supposed to be smoking there in China either. Now, enforcement of this can vary, especially if you're not in a larger city where people are more strict about it. So there are some like more local Chinese restaurants where you're not supposed to smoke, but you'll see people smoking. And fact is, most people don't really want conflict, so it kind of just persists. You see this especially with old guys. So you're sitting, you're having your meal across the restaurant, you might see or you might even smell it wafting down into your food. And I think a lot of people don't really speak up about this because, just it might be awkward, it's a conflict, you don't want to rock the boat, and so it persists. There are some people who are just fiending for a cigarette, and a lot of people's days are powered by nicotine. And one of these fiending moments you'll see is on the high speed rail or at the train stations. On the platform to get onto the train, you will often see people smoke there. Now, you're not supposed to, but this is somewhere where it's not strictly enforced. It would be, for example, strictly enforced on the train. I've never seen it happening on the train, but on the platform, some people will jump out, kill a cigarette, and get back on the train. Other common smoking spots where you're not supposed to smoke, but you often smell the lingering smell of a cigarette is in the washrooms. A lot of washrooms in malls, people go there to smoke because you're not supposed to smoke in the mall, so why not do it in the washroom? Now, not every washroom and not in every mall, but I have gone into several washrooms to hear someone in the stall, you know, on the phone having a cigarette. It happens. It happens more than you'd think. But again, this isn't supposed to be, and it's not technically allowed. It's just one of those things that still happens. Now, something you might notice is that vapes aren't as common as they are back in the West. So they took off for a while here, and the government really cracked down on them, especially vapes to the youth. Now, this is something the Canadian government could learn from the Chinese government because those kids, oh, they're cooked. They're just puffing at those vapes in malls, in washrooms, in gyms, in gym washrooms. You can't catch a break from the vapes in the teens in Canada. Overall, although smoking is on the decline, it is still somewhat socially acceptable. So if you're a foreigner who smokes, or even if you don't, you're very likely to be offered a cigarette at some point. I've even gone to get some fruit from a small fruit store, and the guy pops open a pack and offers me one. This can lead to a lot of polite declining, but don't feel awkward about it. If you don't smoke, just politely decline and move on with your day. Just remember, it is socially acceptable to smoke here. You'll see people stepping out for the smoke break, grabbing one while going about their day, or sometimes even zipping down the road on their e-bike with one in their mouth, powered by nicotine. All that to say, smoking culture is very fluid. Older generations, it was very prevalent. Younger generations, I guess, are pushing back a little bit, and new government health incentives are helping to kind of curb smoking altogether. So things are changing, which can ultimately lead to a healthier and happier population. And remember, folks, smoking is hazardous for your health and is not to be endorsed. I hope this gave you a little bit about the idea of smoking and smoking culture in China. And until next time.